Toastmasters
without
guest.
knowing.
My name is Antréa Ferguson, and
I love it.
As you know,
but let me explain to you how my journey started.
Recently.
He will share with us what plan he came up with to turn impromptu speaking into his second nature. And let's welcome our first speaker, Shankar Poncelet.
Do you like speaking without knowing that you're about to speak? I love it. But let me explain to you how my journey started with table topics and with public speaking. When I came to the United States in 2011, I was afraid that the local population would not understand me. Little did I know that Toastmasters was going to change that and help me ameliorate my public speaking. It was my girlfriend back at the time that told me, here, why don't we go to the club? It'll help you, you will see. I needed to improve my presentation skills. I said, sure enough, let's go. Turns out she only went twice and I really never left. Very quickly, I started discovering that my strength was table topics. Why, do you ask? Well, it's all about storytelling, folks. Table topics can be made incredibly powerful if you combine your past and your experience with the question given. Luckily, I had a wealth of experiences to draw from my law enforcement days. And that's exactly what I did at my first ever table topics area contest that I won. And that really gave me a lot of confidence in myself. But I knew there was still a way to ameliorate. Nowadays, I want to be the best possible speaker on the screen. And I want to do that at the same time while I'm leading a business that is growing. There's amelioration on every front, guys. I have a business to grow and I have my speaking skills on camera that I need to bring to a level of perfection that will make me happy and content. Now, there is something very important to know when there is a gap between your skill set and the taste that you have that you consider as perfection. In order to ameliorate your skill, you need to repeat it incessantly. And that's why I came up with a very, very interesting idea. An idea that would combine my wish to ameliorate my public speaking on screen and my business. I went to my partner in life and business, Antréa, and told her, listen, should we not start going live daily on Instagram and talk about business matters? She was very quickly interested because she too is very, very interested in ameliorating her public speaking and leadership skills. We decided to call the show The Daily Intention. And we decided we would not really be prepared when we go live every day, typically between 6 and 7 a.m. Now, how do we do it? Well, I once bought this book here, 3,000 Questions. Can't really see it here with my filter. 3,000 questions about me. So when we get up, I open the book and I look at the question. It's typically a question that is meant to be a personal question. And we just add as it pertains to your business. And voila, we have the perfect daily table topic to work on. Now, you are certainly interested in the results. Well, I can tell you that the reaction and engagement on all social media channels and online channels has ameliorated tremendously. People are interested in listening to what we have to say off the cuff about being a couple in business. People respond, people can relate, people comment, like, and post. And as you may know, that is very, very good for public relations. It is very, very good for your exposure. We will ameliorate our engagement rate that much that we will dominate the online space here in San Antonio. Because I am convinced that if we can't do it for ourselves, we cannot do it for our customers. Well, that's all I have for you tonight. I hope I have shown you a way that you may apply to ameliorate whatever you choose. It's all about repetition and closing that gap between your skills and what you consider the best possible taste that you want to match. Dear Toastmasters.
Thank you, Shankar. It's now my honor to introduce our second speaker for the evening, Miss Antréa Ferguson. Antréa currently serves as a content specialist for ShankX Web Development, and she is working through her Innovative Planning Pathway Level 5 currently. While doing research in psychotherapy recently for a client, Antréa discovered the 10 most common cognitive distortions and was able to identify 3 of her own. Antréa will share with the club her findings with the hope that everyone will find healthy ways to overcome negative thinking with positive truths about themselves. Thank you, Antréa.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Antréa Ferguson, and as you know, I was researching recently 10 most common cognitive distortions. Well, if you're wondering what is behind me, it's 1 clock. Or is it 3? Or is it 2? It depends on your perception. But if your perception is distorted, what you believe will seem so real and so valid and so true that I couldn't tell you that there were 3 fuzzy clocks instead of 1 or 2 or 3. It will seem as real as the hands on your body, whatever you feel sometimes. And usually it happens at a point when we feel low because of an event or a situation that has occurred, that we start having these weird perceptions or distortions of reality. I'm not going to go into the 10 cognitive distortions because it's too much for right now, but I will tell you about 3 common distortions that I had, mostly because they were projected onto me. There's a such thing called should statements. A should statement is a rule created by God knows who, but for whatever reason, the whole world is supposed to do it. The whole world is supposed to know it. Everyone, for example, I used to believe that I'm nearly 30, I shouldn't be traveling, I should be in the US, I should be on my way to having a family. And it was reinforced by my favorite uncle who told me, how old are you now, Antréa? Almost 30? Yeah, you should be married. You should have about 2 or 3 children by now. Ashley has 4. Well, she has 3 and 1 on the way. And that kind of familial pressure really made me think that I should do this or be at this point. And I started feeling like something was missing or I was off. But actually, the reality was that I was very happy doing what I was doing, being out of the country, having traveled and lived in South America, Europe, and Asia was what gave me adventure in my life and made me feel wonderful. I didn't have a problem with my timeline. Everyone else did. The second is labeling. I remember when I was new to Toastmasters. Donna Louder, do you remember when I was new to Toastmasters? I didn't know my ups from my down, my left from my right. I remember one time I gave the wrong times, actually, something completely off. And Donna asked me, as she sat next to me, this is when we were in the council chambers, when we were meeting there before we moved to the college, she asked, Antréa, why did you give those times? And she wasn't judging me. She wasn't criticizing me. She was probably just trying to figure out what was going on because she too was new. And I said, because I'm an idiot. That was my honest answer. I was labeling myself as an idiot for this one mistake of using the wrong times, discounting the fact that I was new, discounting all the right, positive, good things that I had done, discounting and the credibility that I have as a competent, capable individual. That was a cognitive distortion that I had, but it can go really deep. Even though I knew in that moment that that's not, as soon as I said it, I knew that that was not who I was. I don't know where it came from. Sometimes we think so negatively that that way of thinking really does distort what we feel about ourselves. And we get into these labels of, I shouldn't have done that. I'm completely incapable. I should be further along than where I am now. My business should be blown up. I'm not doing anything right. And we label ourselves as incapable or not this or that. But those are not necessarily truths. It's just how you feel. And how you feel doesn't mean it's true or valid. It's just a reflection of what you're thinking. The third cognitive distortion that I discovered that I had was magnification. I don't spend 7 hours cleaning per week because I'm not a clean woman. I come from a line of clean women, however. I come from women who split their time between working at least one job, cleaning up after their children and their husband, and doing laundry for whoever knows, preparing lunches and all of this. But my ideal morning is sipping a cup of tea, going over what it is that I want to get done for the day, making personal and professional goals for the week. And during the afternoon, I go outside and I sit on my patio in my comfy chair, going over these things. And every Saturday is an extended bathtub session where I'm listening to podcasts. I love doing it, listening to really influential women, catching up on my favorite podcasts on marketing, and gaining more insight into who I am by journaling or whichever, what I should know about women's health, all of that. Every day during the week, I do dancing or workout. Why am I saying this? Because I don't spend 7 hours a day or a week or whatever cleaning, which was a part of my cognitive distortion, as well as it being, well, my ex had OCD and was cleaning all the time. And I thought, well, I don't have OCD, so I'm not a clean woman. That's not true. I just spend my time doing other things, and that's my choice. The last one that I have, I actually already told you. So with that being said, it's my hope that you'll find healthy ways to overcome negative thinking by really examining the truth. Take a microscope to the truth, not to the lies, and figure out what your cognitive distortions are. Figure out what is real about you, and don't discount the negative, but really sit down and figure out who you are. Don't let the circumstances or the situations or the event define it for you. Madam Toastmaster.